to Chalk Talk, Danville Public Schools Weekly News Magazine. I'm Diane Locker, your host. As you can see, we're in the gymnasium here at George Washington High School, and I'm here with Commander Hitt, and we're here for a very special day. And this is the one time each year that the NJROTC units are inspected. Did I get that correct, Commander Hitt?
Sure did.
Now, what are we going to see here today?
Okay, we have an inspector. Our chief inspector is down from University of Virginia, ROTC. He's the executive officer of that unit. His name is Commander Patrick Funk, and he is the chief inspector. We have two other inspectors, Staff Sergeant Urquhart from the United States Marine Corps and Staff Sergeant Steves from the United States Army. They're also helping out with the inspection. And what they're doing is looking not only at the uniforms, but they're also checking attitude, they're checking bearing, they're checking knowledge. The inspector should ask a knowledge question.
One thing I started off by talking about just using the initials NJROTC, and I think we all know what ROTC means, but just for the sake of the community out there, maybe they haven't heard of it. Is that Naval Junior
Reserve Officers Training Corps.
Now, having said that, it makes it sound like we're a military unit. And I know we look like a military unit, and we're operating certainly today like a military unit, but that's not all that we in the past have talked about ROTC.
Sure is.
What is your main goal for these students?
Okay. The main goal is established by United States Congress, and it's to teach these kids leadership skills and an increased understanding of what it takes to be a citizen in our country.
It's not a recruitment tool, is it?
No. Although some of these kids will go into the military, a large percentage of them will not. We're not here to recruit kids to go in the military, although we can certainly prepare them for that and make it easier for them to go that way. We're here to actually teach them to take ownership of something and to have an appreciation for their education, appreciation for the community, and basically get them ready for life after graduation.
I know in past years when I've talked to some of these students, it's amazing how proud they are. How proud they are of the uniforms. And I think, do they still wear them one day a week at school?
Yes, they do. Every Wednesday is our uniform day.
And I've talked to many of the students about how do you feel when you wear that uniform? And to a person, they always say to me, they almost feel like a different person than they did the day before, or they will feel the day afterwards. There is a pride in what they're doing and a pride in their accomplishment.
Well, there sure is, and that's usually one day out of the week. You can be rest assured that they're going to be on their best behavior, because when they wear that uniform, they feel different. They feel like a grown-up person. They feel like they have to conduct themselves differently than they do most of the rest of the week.
And also, going back to talking about the things I've talked to them about in the past, some of them are going in the military, and they come from military families. It's a tradition for them, but many of them have no interest in going into the military. So, but it's that element of leadership that I think is so important. And some of these students even go to leadership camps, don't they?
They do. Every summer we have two camps in particular that we go to. We have our basic leadership training camp that anybody basically can go to, and it teaches them basic leadership skills and teaches them to become part of a team, and kind of gets them on the road to what we expect when they come back into the unit. There's also what we call our Leadership Academy. That's for the upper cruster kids. We can only send one male, one female per year, so we tend to pick and choose those kids very carefully. And that is an actual leader training. They actually get academic leadership training. Sure do.
That's amazing. Now, what we're going to see here today, if my memory serves me correct, we are going to see each of these units here. Now, I think also because of the way we schedule, this is not all of the kids that are in ROTC, is it?
Oh, no, by no means. This is only half. We're on block schedule, so this is half of the unit. We're going to see the other half next semester.
Now, they're going to be, each one of these students is going to be talked to today by the gentlemen that you mentioned a little bit earlier. Then after that, what will we see?
Okay, once the inspection's over with, we're going to hand out awards. Some of these kids will be identified by the inspectors as having a very good uniform and very good bearing, and we will recognize them appropriately at that time. And then the chief inspector will actually speak for a couple of minutes. Once we do that, we'll have a drill demonstration, and then we'll have a pass and review, and then we'll be done as far as that goes. Now, the chief inspector stays with us the rest of the day. My staff has to give him a stand-up PowerPoint briefing on our unit and what we do. He has to come over and inspect our spaces and things of that nature. But in here, just the uniform and inspection part, once we do the pass and review at the very end, we'll be done.
I think I want to emphasize also in some of the things that you just said, we're not just checking on the students here. They're checking on the staff and how the program is run also.
That's correct. That's correct. Very, very correct. Yeah, he, like I said, the staff has to give him a brief, and he talks to each individual on the staff. My operations officer, my supply officer, my admin officer, and they explain how they do their jobs, and he gets a pretty good picture as to how we run by going through that process.
What I'm going to do now, though, is I'm going to get back here with the cadets and with some of the people that are talking to them and find out what's going on.
You bet. Okay, great.
Thanks.
I'm Petty Officer, 2nd Class, Mason McGee, Operations Officer.
And what's your grade level?
Junior.
Junior.
My name is Athena Bass. I'm Cadet Lieutenant Commander, and I'm an Executive Assistant.
And grade level?
12.
Hello, I'm Petty Officer 1st Class Dominique Williams, and I'm Supply Officer.
Okay, I'm going to start back here and try to figure out what some of these titles mean. And I'm going to start with you. Now, you said you are
The Executive Assistant.
all right, Executive Assistant to who?
To Commander, Hit, and Master Chief.
Okay, and what do you do as an Executive Assistant?
As Executive Assistant, I help out with Commander and Master Chief if they need any assistance in paperwork or getting in contact with Supply or any of the other platoons.
Keeps you busy, doesn't it?
Yes.
All right. How long have you been in ROTC?
4 years.
4 years. And are you a senior this year?
Yes, ma'am.
What happens next?
Well, I'll have to graduate and go to college to become a child psychologist.
A child psychologist.
Yes.
By the time you get out, I'll be very childlike and you can probably help me. I'm going to switch you over here. You are supply.
No. She's Supply. I'm Operations Officer.
See, I get the two confused. Now tell me what an operation officer does.
Well, I make all like the permission forms. I plan the events, like what are we gonna do. Like parents want to know when we go like away to say Quantico or Norfolk, they want to plan out of what their kid is doing, and so I make all of those and the permission slips that we have to turn in, PA letters that we have to turn into the office.
Lots of paperwork.
Lots of paperwork. Lots and lots of paperwork.
Welcome to bureaucracy.
Yeah.
What's your grade level?
I'm a junior. I'm in 11th grade.
And how long have you been in ROTC?
This is my 3rd year.
And why did you pick ROTC when you were a freshman?
My brother, he's in the Marine Corps, and he did it his 4 years, so he made me do it. But I like it now, so.
You did it for your brother.
Yeah, I did it for my brother.
Now, you're a junior, right? And next year is a senior year. Do you have any plans after that?
I'm going to do 4 years at college and then go in as an officer, most likely.
And what branch do you want to go in?
Air Force.
Air Force. You going to be a pilot?
No, ma'am. I'm either going to do air traffic control or be a lawyer.
Wow. Dangerous, dangerous. I'm going to switch back again here so I can get over here to my supply officer.
Yes, ma'am.
It's the only one I got correct. Now tell me what a supply officer does.
So we keep like a closet of supply, and we have all of our uniforms and all our ranks and all of our little ribbons and stuff. So we keep inventory, and we have like this program. It's called CD Miss. So like we know what we have and what to give out and who to give out to and everything else, ma'am.
All right, I want to ask one thing, and I meant to ask you, what does this mean? You talked about uniforms.
Yes, ma'am.
So now, in talking about uniforms, what does this mean?
So the silver one it's the only one that's allowed to wear on the right shoulder, and it's the Leadership Academy one. So over the summer, Athena had went to Leadership Academy, and she graduated from Leadership Academy. So she's the only one who gets to wear that one on the right shoulder.
Now, over here, we have the silver and the blue.
Yes, ma'am.
Does that mean anything about Leadership Academy?
No, the blue and the silver one, that is a varsity drill. So after school we have drill and we have rifle and everything else. So everything's a different color. So you see many of our cadets wearing the yellow ones. Those are a drill, and since Macy McGee over here was been in drill for more than 2 years, she gets the varsity drill cord.
Impressive. And that was a test because you said you did uniforms and you passed the test. Now, how long have you been in ROTC?
3 years.
3 years?
Yes, ma'am.
And what is your grade level?
Junior.
All right. Why did you choose ROTC when you were a freshman?
Just because it seemed fun. I didn't really have anyone to influence me to do it, so I just wanted to do something that no one else was really doing in my family.
That's neat. Has it turned out to be fun?
Yes, ma'am.
It's turned out to be successful for you.
Yes,
hasn't it?
ma'am, it has.
What do you want to do after you get out of school?
I either want to be a police officer or a sheriff.
A police officer or a sheriff?
Yes, ma'am.
I can see it. I can see it. Sergeant, you were just over there talking to a young lady. Now, tell me why, out of all those cadets that were over there, you're interviewing this one person. Now, she is a leader of a platoon?
She is, yes, ma'am. She's also one of the cadets as well.
All right. Why were you talking to her, and what were you asking her? And I know your purpose is here to inspect, but what kind of questions were you asking her?
So they are supposed to know their phonetic alphabet. So I was going through the phonetic alphabet with her, Alpha, Bravo, Charlie, simple questions like that.
Also, it seemed that her dress it was part of it. What is that? You're looking at the uniform?
Yes, so I'm looking all the way from the cover, their hair, the nails, all the way down to the shoes, making sure that they are fully inspection ready.
That would be tough. I'm not sure I could pass something like that. And I think that's one of the things that's so good about having ROTC.
Yes, ma'am.
Calling that to the attention of these cadets, those types of things. Now, why are you here? Is this something that you do as part of your service, or is this something you volunteer to do? How does that work? How did you end up here inspecting our units?
So as a recruiter, I am really in charge of a lot of things that go on when it comes to the high school and the kids, especially the ROTC program. And a lot of these kids have interest in the military, so we want to make sure that we come out and we actually show them that, one, we care, but also what we're inspecting for if they decide to take this route as a career.
I think also what's really important is that you come in the uniform. You're very well presented to these students, and I think that helps. I think to see a real professional, and it's and you're very impressive. And I want to thank you for coming here and working with our students.
Thank you so much, ma'am. I appreciate it.
Michael, give me your title.
I am the commanding officer of the unit.
Now, when you say you're the commanding officer of the unit, what does that mean?
That means I'm in charge of the unit, help make it to make sure that it runs smoothly. I delegate. I'm in charge of our staff that also helps make sure the unit runs like a well-oiled machine.
Now, I've seen you walking around here today to each of these. Now, what do you call each of these groups?
They're
A unit?
we call those a platoon, and they're in order by. That's our first platoon on the far left of the gym, and this is our third platoon behind us.
Now, you've been going to them. I've watched you this morning while I was talking with the commander. What are you doing when you walk up to them?
I'm just checking on them, make sure they're okay, make sure that no one feels like they're about to pass out.
Explain that. A lot of people don't understand, and I've learned over years working with ROTC, if you stand for a long time with your knees locked, you can pass out. Is that true?
Yes, that's very true. You don't want to lock your knees, otherwise it cuts off blood flow. So tend to get lightheaded and want to pass out.
We don't want any of that. Now tell me, how long have you been in ROTC?
3 years. This is my 4th year currently.
Now, what is your grade level?
I'm a senior.
What happens next?
I graduate and hopefully go into the military.
Which branch do you want to go into?
I want to go into the Army. I've looked at all the possibilities, and I believe the Army has what I'm looking for.
Did you go into ROTC because you wanted to go into the military?
That was part of the reason. The high school I would have gone to before this one had recently lost our ROTC program, so I came here, and I'd always liked the idea of it, so I came here to go to ROTC instead, and it is a stepping stone to help me.
If
to
I
get into
ask
the
you,
military.
what is the one thing that ROTC you feel that ROTC has done for you, what would that be?
Taught me good leadership qualities. As I've been through it, I've been put into many leadership positions. I was a PC
What's a PC?
platoon commander. I was a platoon commander my sophomore year, and then my junior year I was a operations officer, so put a lot of responsibility on me as well.
You're an impressive young man, and I know whatever you do in the future is going to be great, and I want to thank you for talking to me, and I'm going to let you get back to the platoons, right?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Master Chief Darryl Greene.
Yes,
I've
ma'am.
got that correct. Now,
Yes.
how do you fit into here at GW to our ROTC program?
I am a recently hired naval science instructor. I am a partner with Commander Hitt, who is the senior naval science instructor, and together we run the whole company of about 120 cadets.
Now, I think what's more important than anything that you said is you are a graduate of George Washington High School, where we are standing right now. How long ago?
I walked these hallowed halls back in the 80s. I graduated in 1984 from George Washington High School.
Now, how does it feel to be back here at George Washington as a teacher?
There is a lot of deja vu as I walk through the hallways, and sometimes I feel like I've experienced certain things before, and I'm going, oh yeah, it's from my high school days. But it's definitely a challenge, as well as I consider it a privilege to be back here to try to pay it forward.
Well, I think also that the NJROTC program is a wonderful program. I'm here every year to see what's going on, and it's wonderful what you guys do with these students. So I want to thank you,
Well, thank you.
for coming back here, and
Yes.
welcome back.
It's good to be back. All right.
Commander Funk, you are from University of Virginia.
Yes, ma'am.
Now, are you with a ROTC program that are there?
Yes. Yeah, I'm the executive officer for the Naval ROTC unit up at University of Virginia.
Now, when you say you're the executive officer for that, does that mean you're active military, or this is something you're doing?
So I'm active military, so 22 years in the Navy at this point. So yeah, I'm the second in command of the unit up there. So we have about 90 midshipmen that will, when they graduate with their degree, will become officers in the Navy or Marine Corps.
That's super. Now, you're here today to look at our unit. Now, what are you looking for? And I've seen you going around this with the looking at the cadets and everything. What is it that you're looking for?
So what we're looking for generally is how well their military bearing is, how well that they wear the uniform, that they handle their responsibilities here. So JROTC at the high school level is all about teaching community, respect, kind of embedding military core values into high school students. With the not the hope, but that actually really when they graduate that they become capable and functioning members of society.
When I interview the cadets, and I've interviewed several today, it's kind of a mix. Some of them come from military families and are influenced into going into ROTC. They're going to go into the military. Some of them are not going to go into the military. So it's kind of a toss-up what they get out of it. But to a person, they all talk about the leadership that they learn.
Yeah, I think that's probably the most important thing. I mean, the world is always hungry for leaders.
Yes.
They want someone who demonstrates that leadership ability. And more than anything, when they get that leadership training here, is they get the ability to function as a team, how to manage a team, so that no matter what profession they go into, they kind of have that experience and that background, so that it doesn't seem so foreign when they first step into a job and they're expected to perform as a team leader or a member of a group. Even they kind of have that background, and I think that helps regardless of your service.
You hear a lot about teenagers. I mean, we hear about that all the time. But when you go around and you talk to these cadets, they are in a way so adult, so poised. And I think maybe that's what I'm going to define as what you said earlier about military bearing. Is that a way to put it?
Yeah, absolutely.
These cadets are different.
No, I think they are. I think they represent. To a person, I would state that they represent the best of their classmates,
Yes.
And they have a sense of something more than themselves,
Yes,
which I think
pride.
it's pride. So they get that. They get to stand out a little bit. They get to be recognized. And when they wear the uniform, they're recognized as something different. Which I think even if you translate that to society. Society sees the same thing. They like that person who kind of stands out a little bit more independent. So I think if they get nothing more out of this, I think it's that it's okay to be disciplined. It's okay to be focused. It's okay to be different, so long as as yet you have a noble purpose in mind.
I think it's great. I think the program is impressive. And I want to thank you for taking the time to come here and to take a look at us. And I'm sure you're going to find we're perfect.
Absolutely. It's been a great time so far.
Thank you.
Yep.
All right, if I can have your attention, please. What you're going to see now is a short drill demonstration. Get to see some marching drill. It's always kind of exciting to do that. But before we get into that, I would be greatly amiss if I wouldn't recognize some of our parents that are here to watch our festivities today. So thank you very much for attending. Without the parents, you can't have the program. So it's a pretty awesome thing. Thank you very much. And having said that, CO, take over.
Sir, this is George Washington unarmed platoon. Press mission. Utilize your drill, sir. Thank you, sir. Order. On. Right. Up, out. Up, right. Platoon. Up, in. Hut. Mark time. Mark. Forward. Mark. Platoon. Out. Ice. Freeze it. Home. Sir, excludes our performance. Press mission. Leo drill, sir. Thank you, sir. Order. On. Right. Eight. Forward. Right.
What you're going to see now is what we call the pass and review. You're going to see the company reform where they were before, and then they're going to actually march to music around the gym, showing respect to our chief inspector. And it's usually a very difficult task to perform. It definitely takes practice. And these kids have actually done a pretty good job preparing for this. So I'm kind of looking forward to this.
Terry, this is your first experience here with ROTC. Now tell me, how do you feel now?
Diane, I'm so impressed, and I want to thank, first off, Commander Hitt for including me. What a kind invitation and great opportunity. I think this is just to see the students and that they've taken advantage of this opportunity, and watching them take pride in themselves and the leadership. I've just been so impressed and so thankful for the invitation from Commander Hitt.
And we're glad to have you here. Now, Dr. Jones, we talked a little bit earlier in the show, and we talked about those concepts of leadership and all of the other things, discipline, that type of stuff. How do you feel about those things now that you've watched some of the things that have gone on here?
We saw evidence of it today. I mean, the bottom line is that we have wonderful young people in our community, and they don't get enough recognition. And unfortunately, we're not in a position where the community can really be a part of this. But I've said to Mrs. Hall earlier that this gives you pride to watch our students under these circumstances demonstrate self-discipline, demonstrate leadership, demonstrate good citizenship. We have wonderful kids, and we often don't get recognition for that. So I think the only folks that are prouder than us are parents.
Our parents. But I have to say one thing before we close the show here. I watched you almost tear up a couple of times there, especially when they were playing the music and marching through. I saw that, so I don't have to ask you how it affected you.
Oh yeah, definitely. I was so proud, and like Dr. Jones said, this is a great opportunity to build character with our students and just expose them to self-discipline and taking pride in themselves. And it's obvious, even Commander Hitt, he takes great pride in his students. He does a wonderful job, and it would be wonderful for the whole community to come out and be able to see this.
I agree with you. I want to say to everyone in the community, we're so glad that you were here with us to watch these students perform the way that they did today. Everything that we've talked about leadership, we've talked about team building, all of those things is so obvious in what these cadets are doing. I want to thank each and every one of you for watching us this week, and be sure to come back next week because we've got some other neat things going on too.